Hello everyone, this is Hunter at Vapor Honing Technologies, and today we're going to be discussing vapor honing information for beginners and experts to the process. Just sharing some different tips, tricks, and information about the process that'll help you guys out. So starting off, we're going to discuss the basic information and what you guys should know about the vapor honing process. So this includes your abrasives, your setup, your pressure settings, just different things of that nature. Now, as far as abrasive choices, as you could probably see on our website, there are a bunch of different choices that you have. Glass bead, aluminum oxide, ceramic bead, garnet, silicon carbide. So there's a lot of different choices there. With the abrasives, it's gonna really depend on what you're doing for your process as to what abrasive you use. So if you're looking for something that's just going to be more of like a general clean and polish, glass bead may be the abrasive that you wanna use. If you're looking for a little bit deeper cleaning or a little bit more aggressive cleaning, maybe removing paint, some rust, tooling marks, things of that nature, you may wanna use an aluminum oxide. Now, depending on what you're doing, we have a bunch of different grades of that product. Finer aluminum oxide is gonna be good for light surface rust, tooling marks to mask those out, just different lighter types of surface contamination. Whereas maybe more aggressive aluminum oxide is gonna be good for, let's say, a powder coat or something of that nature that's a little bit more stuck on. Than what those lighter contaminants are gonna be. Now, you do have garnet and silicon carbide as well, which essentially do the same thing as what your aluminum oxide is gonna do. They're just a little bit harder and a little bit more aggressive. So if you wanna get the job done quicker, or you need a rougher surface for your profile, on your part, then you can use either of those abrasives. Now, something that we don't really talk about a lot is the ceramic bead. Ceramic is really good. Let's say if you're working on more of like antique parts and there's a certain satin look you're going for, ceramic's really good for that because it's gonna provide a satin finish. But also if you're looking for an abrasive with a longevity to it, ceramic is gonna be the option you wanna go with. And the reason for that is because it lasts 10 times as long as what your glass bead does. Given the price of each 25-pound bag, it does last about 10 times as long. It's harder, it's gonna be a little bit more aggressive, but also provide a satin finish. Also, another one that's kind of an honorable mention is gonna be your soda. Soda it can be used in a wet blast format. The thing with soda is that it's water soluble, so you're gonna have to keep checking your ratios like once or twice a week to make sure that the ratio is where it needs to be inside of the cabinet. But this is good for just like a contaminant cleaning. So very light surface rust, maybe greases, oils, any kind of, caked on buildup. It will kind of bake that stuff off. It's not gonna give you any finish like a glass bead would. It's just gonna return it to the raw state of the metal. So it's not gonna give any enhanced kind of surface finish per se, but it does help in terms of engine components. If it's something you don't wanna use an abrasive on, or maybe a customer's bringing you a part, they specifically wanna leave it together, they don't wanna disassemble it, your best bet's gonna be soda because that stuff will dissolve once it's reassembled, and it's not gonna cause a problem like a natural abrasive would. So a couple more here. Crushed glass is another one. Now I've only really seen crushed glass used in a couple scenarios, but it's super aggressive with the wet blast process. So it's gonna be good if you have chrome that's starting to chip away to get that chrome off. It's gonna be good to get more of like a factory powder coat off because those powder coats are super hard to get off of different parts. Now, as far as the last abrasive, something unique to the wet blast process, it's gonna be the 4-to-1 mix of glass bead and aluminum oxide. So the 4-to-1 mix is good if you are looking to maintain a polish, but you have parts that maybe are a little bit rusted or have tooling marks on them, have paint on them that you're trying to wipe off at the same time so that you don't need to switch abrasives. That 4-to-1 mix is gonna be perfect for you because it basically gives all around performance, but keeps the finish that you're wanting in a polished finish. So Now that does not come pre-mixed from us. You're gonna have to mix that in the 4:1 ratio whenever it gets there, but it's a good way to get things done without having to switch out abrasives. So next are gonna be the pressure settings of our machines. Pressure settings range anywhere usually from 60 to 100 for these machines to be the most effective. That is 60 to 100 PSI. With the exception of the micro is gonna be a little bit less, 60 to 70 PSI is where that one's gonna be the most efficiently operated at. But as for the rest of our machines, there is a wide range there. So a lot of the times we get the question of what PSI should I blast at? Typically, if you're looking for something to just be, cleaned up a little bit, polished, you're gonna be lower on that scale. So anywhere from 60 to 80. 80 to 100 usually you're gonna be at if you're removing anything off of the surface. So paint, powder coat, tougher stuck on contaminants. That's when you're gonna be up in pressure. You just have to keep in mind you don't always need to be at 100 PSI. It doesn't always need to be up there. Now something you can do after you're done with the initial blast of your part, and if you're using a glass bead in particular, is dial back your pressure, maybe to like 20 or 30 PSI. That's gonna give you even more of a polish since you're hitting it with less of a force than what you're hitting it at from 60 to 100 PSI. So that's a little trick that can maybe go and fall in our tips and tricks section, but that definitely helps a lot of the time to give more of that mirror-like finish and just enhance it a little bit from the initial blast at 60 to 100 PSI. So the next thing we're gonna highlight is the machine setup information. Now, that is gonna be linked up here in this video, but we have a bunch of different videos and playlists that pertain to the setup of the machines that we're gonna link for you guys. We also have PDF documentation of that too. So if you guys ever need that after you purchase your machine, we have that readily available. We can send that to you anytime. Now something that goes hand in hand with this is the troubleshooting side. Obviously, you're gonna have mechanical things break down on the machine. It's just how mechanical things work. But we do have troubleshooting for that. Our troubleshooter's name is Todd. His number is 828-220-4983. But he is super helpful in getting these issues diagnosed and helping you replace those parts that you need. Now also, we do have our knowledge base page, which is under About Us on our website. You will get the password to that after you purchase the machine, but this website has different troubleshooting measures on it. It has different techniques on it. So it's super helpful when you run into any issues. If you need to troubleshoot or if you need to set up, that page kind of has an encompassment of everything in one. Moving on to different tips, tricks that we have when blasting. Typically this process is gonna work like a dry blast process does, but it's gonna have water involved. So there's no dust, there's no pitting, there's no warping. It's a lot cleaner and safer of a process for your parts. But also that makes blasting your parts a little bit easier because you're not having to deal with those different risks. The water is actually cushioning the abrasive on the surface of the part. So you're not changing tolerances or getting abrasive embedded in your surface. It's super safe, super user-friendly to work with. Usually when I'm blasting, I like to maintain a distance of 3 to 4 inches from the parts and go in small circular motions to kind of maintain that consistency across the entirety of the part. Now, if you do end up going too close to the part, you could get dark spots. We call them hot spots here. Now you may know them from the dry blast process, but in wet blast, they're super easy to get out. You're just gonna wanna draw your gun back, maybe about 8 to 12 inches from the part and just go over that area. That should flatten those out and get rid of them. We have different videos and playlists for all different types of people, whether you're a beginner, middle of the road, you're an expert. Check out our YouTube channel. There are tons of videos and playlists again on there that are gonna help you out big time when it comes to this process. And again, we're always available to call us if you need us. Our number here is 828-202-5563. And don't forget, we do have free sample testing. If you want to send parts in, we can test them for free. We usually say about 1 to 3 parts as far as sample parts, but we'll test them for free, get an abrasive that's right for you, get a process dialed in that's right for you. Again, give us a call if you have any questions. Our number here is 828-202-5563.